Hi. If you want the gist of the entire video in less than 45 seconds, it is this. Number one, women, the second most looked at part of you after your face are your chest and your boobs, whether you like it or not. Also, your chest and boobs are literally the most overlooked aspect of your body by your own self. The irony. Number two, women, if you do not train your chest the way women should train their chest, then no matter how much money you spend on food, fashion, fitness, athleisure, gym, trainer, you will never be able to achieve the hourglass frame that everyone is chasing. Number three, if you do not train your chest the way a woman should train your chest, or let me put it other way, if you train your chest the way men train their chest, then you will probably have a chest that looks a lot like a man's chest. If you're okay with it, you can totally stop watching the video here. If not, let's proceed.
Let's be honest, the chest is one of the most defining parts of a woman's body. Aesthetically, it balances your figure. It's the second thing eyes notice after your face. And this isn't just a recent obsession, it's been celebrated since forever. Sung about in poetry and film, sculpted into temple art, and dressed for centuries by designers who know that every neckline, whether it's a blouse, sari, or gown, is cut to flatter your upper body. And it's not even just about the optics. Your chest speaks of strength, posture, and how you carry yourself. Whether you're naturally busty or not, it decides whether you look effortless, elegant, or awkward in your own skin. And yet, here's the irony. 85 to 98% of women across the world are in the wrong bra size. 9 out of 10 of us have asymmetrical boobs. By 25, most of us experience sagging, and less than 20% of us ever train chest at the gym. Basically, the one feature noticed right after our face is the one we've abandoned the most.
हाय गाइस, मेरा नाम नीशा है और आज मैं आपके साथ बात करने वाली हूँ अबाउट द बेसिक्स ऑफ चेस्ट ट्रेनिंग बट स्पेसिफिकली फॉर विमेन, मीनिंग नॉट बिल्डिंग मास, नॉट मेकिंग स्लैब्स, बट टू हैव ABC and chest. A for anti-gravity, B for well bonded, and C in the most important, incredibly well contoured boobs. So without wasting any more time,
Just so you know, I wasn't really born with some perfect bust line. For years, I wore bras literally half my size, sometimes two at a time, stacked on top of each other. And yes, I even exercised like that. Imagine running, like literally running with two madly tight bras, crushing you through your formative years. Let's just say it took me many years and quite a few tears to rebuild what I ruined. At least upper body wise, I don't even have pictures from that era to show you. So you just have to take my word for it. Metaphorically, a woman's chest is like the opening line of a book. Ignore it and the whole story feels off. No matter what you wear, it sets the tone of your look. And here's the brutal part. There's no magic cure. Bras stretch, corsets pinch, filters lie. They can only hold for so long, which is why after the face, your chest is the one feature you can't afford to neglect. And here's the proof of why it matters. The hourglass has always been the most desired body type. Wide bust, narrow waist, and wide hips. And the bust line is its first silent pillar. Without it, even the tiniest waist or widest hips cannot balance the frame. The human eye naturally scans top down. So after your face, your chest is the second stop.
in fact, if you just take the whole shebang around dressing up of a woman, everything, be it makeup, jewelry, fashion, accessories, takes like a top to down approach. So depending upon that body part which shares the most amount of proximity to the first thing that gets noticed on you, which is your face, accordingly that part gets decorated. So be it like your earrings, your necklace, and then downwards. So like your neckline. So if you just speak to any stylist, they will always tell you that no matter what you're wearing, if your neckline is not in place, then the rest of the outfit will never be on point.
And that's where your bust line quietly decides whether you look polished, powerful, or unfinished. It's the checkpoint between your face and your waist. Care for it, and every top to bottom scan flatters you. Neglect it, and no amount of makeup, corsets, or waist training can rescue the silhouette.
The triangle of balance: bust, waist, hips. If this goes, this won't exist. So whether it gets too wide, not okay, too narrow, not okay, perfect, okay.
And here's the magic. A fuller bust line can actually make plus-sized women look more sculpted and proportionate. That's why someone like Adele or Ashley Graham still look irresistibly hourglass because their bust balances their waist and hips. But when the bust line is missing, even the best proportions below can look incomplete. That's why even slim women can look awkward if the bust line is too flat for their frame. Think Kendall Jenner, statuesque and stunning, but often styled with padded corsets or plunging necklines to balance her proportions on the runway. Basically, your bust line is the quiet referee that keeps the geometry of your whole body in harmony.
One of the biggest optical illusion tricks in fashion is this. A higher, tighter fit at the bust instantly makes your waist look longer and leaner. It's the fastest shortcut to looking hourglass, even if your body is still far from it. That's why designers always add detailing, embroidery, seams, or structured stitches right around the bust line. They know if the bust looks firm and defined, the rest of the body will automatically fall into shape. Look at plus size fashion or even adaptive clothing ranges. They've been using this trick for decades. By lifting and framing the bust, the torso looks elongated, the waist looks smaller, and the whole silhouette looks more flattering no matter what size you are. But here's the truth. The work on clothes around the bust line only works if your chest underneath is ABC. Anti-gravity, bonded and contoured. If it's sagging, spread or undefined, no neckline, corset or no seam can save the silhouette.
It is not uncommon in a cosmetic consultation that I have a patient come in and they've been doing a lot for their face. They've been doing lasers, maybe Botox, their skin looks really good, and maybe they're nitpicking a few things. But then when we look at their neck and chest, they have completely ignored these areas. We are really focusing in on the neck and chest to make sure that everything is working in harmony. On the other side of that coin, there are people who are hyper aware of their chest. I have women who say, listen, I love accessorizing, I love jewelry, I love fashion, but I've stopped wearing V-necks or I've stopped wearing my necklaces because I don't want to draw attention to my aging chest anymore. But the chest to me is the dead giveaway. The chest gets weathered and can look weathered very quickly. And even when you look at celebrities who have access to all the things, so many of them have a disconnect between their face and their chest. When I'm looking at someone's chest or when I'm evaluating it from a cosmetic perspective, there are a few distinct things that happen with an aging chest. One, it gets crepey, and two, it gets these deeper lines, usually from side sleeping or if someone has heavier breasts, just kind of smushes that skin over and over again. And when you get 3, 4, 5, 6 decades into life, those lines start to stay there even when you're not lying on your side.
Remember, chest aging doesn't wait for a milestone. It doesn't care if you're 25, post-pregnancy or 50. The sag and flatness can show up anytime and faster than you think. And here's the irony. While we spend thousands fighting fine lines on our face, the chest, which is right below it, is quietly giving away our age. Every neckline you wear, sari, blouse or t-shirt frames this area first, which is why anti-aging shouldn't stop at your face. The real work starts just below it, at your chest. So now here's the irony. Almost 100% of all of us women across the world rely on like the good old bra to be like the sole caretaker of like our chest and boobs. But the joke is that as many as 85 to 98% of women across the world, across age groups, are wearing the wrong size bra. Imagine that one thing that is supposed to take care of one of the most important body parts is just incorrect. It's just incorrectly sized. The joke. Unlike everything else in fitness, the secret to a great bust line also lies in smart eating and smart exercising. We'll come to the food part in a bit, but let's talk about exercising first, because this is where most of us are going wrong.
अगर लड़कियों की बात करें, अगर ये लड़कियां हैं, सबसे पहले लड़कियों का मुंह अंदर जाता है, उसके बाद उनकी छाती, which is your breast, वो अंदर जाती है.
So girls, your chest, including boobs, is built mostly of the fat tissue layered over muscle, which is why it's always the first to lose volume with weight loss and the first to give in to age and gravity. So it's not just the boobs sagging, it's your whole chest slowly taking a turn for the south unless you train it to stay anti-gravity. Now see, if you're okay with having smaller or non-ABC chest and boobs, totally your call. But if you're someone who does not want to lose anything that makes you look more like a woman, and if you're someone like me who does not like spending money unnecessarily over expensive shapewear, treatments and other things, then you have no option but to train your chest. In fact, training your chest has a lot more effect in shaping your bust line and in turn the rest of your body as compared to just dieting and otherwise. Something that is universally applicable in fat loss, fitness in general, meaning diet has a larger influence. But no, if you train your chest, then you will probably have a better chance of having a better looking overall figure as compared to otherwise.
Let's start with the ABC of eating for chest contouring. But before you get carried away with the Pinteresty aesthetics and fancy flavors, remember, these ABCs only work if you keep them clean, simple and unflavored. Basically, the less gimmicky your food, the more perky your chest.
So antioxidants work like your invisible bra.
They guard your collagen and elastin, keeping your chest looking firm, lifted and ageless instead of tired and droopy. Think of it as edible skincare for your upper body.
Protein works like your natural push-up bra.
B is for the building blocks, protein. And yeah, I know it's a total no-brainer that protein's important. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Beyond that big protein digit on the label, check the fine print. Because your high protein source might also be packed with carbs, sugar or fat.
Collagen is like the invisible strap that holds everything together.
Just a quick note before we jump in, almost all these moves can be done anywhere, at home, in a park or at the gym, depending on what works best for you. They're simple, not easy, but simple. Add resistance if you want actual results. That can be a pair of dumbbells, 2-liter bottles, and the best of all, your own body weight. I'll put a sample plan for you in the description so you can start from wherever and build up from there. Okay, let's go. Sagging is the fastest way your chest can betray your age. And let's be honest, no push-up bra in the world can fix it beyond a point. What you need is height, not padding. But raising higher doesn't really mean bulging out like an armor. The goal is tasteful contour. Lifted, yes, but sculpted enough to flatter every neckline. That's why these anti-gravity movements matter. Each one doesn't just work for your chest, but also your back and shoulders, the exact support system that holds your chest in place and keeps it looking firm instead of falling flat. So take armor sweeps. They aren't just stretches, they're openers. They peel your chest wider, raise your armpits higher and create that clean vertical lift that makes cleavage lines look deeper and better defined. Stay with them long enough and you'll feel it. Not just in your chest, but running across your shoulders and upper back too. And that's the secret. A lifted chest is never only about the front. It's about the back support that keeps it suspended in place. Which is why this move, the swings and the static dead hangs, they're just brutal but very, very effective. Now add in pull-throughs with dumbbells. That's why your chest, arms and back fire together, giving your upper body some real holding power. The movement itself looks simple, but every rep is carving a deeper line through your chest while tightening the frame that holds it all together. And the kettlebell halos, they're like almost poetic, tracing circles overhead while putting your chest higher, shoulders stronger and posture taller. Every one of these moves is basically teaching your body to fight gravity with grace and not strain. Think of it this way, a gladiator style bra might make you look like you're going to war, but only training like this will give you a chest that looks lifted, balanced and sculpted with or without a bra. Because anti-gravity isn't just a workout, it's your insurance against time. Here's the thing about bonding. When boobs drift apart, whether from genes, posture or just time, they instantly look smaller and looser. But when two things are pressed closer, they always look fuller and denser. That's the optical illusion your chest needs. And the truth is, most women have some version of asymmetry or drift, which is why bonding exercises really matter. Start simple. Namaste raises, elbows pressing in like really close, squeezing everything together. And then take it forward with cable presses, pushing out but at the same time pulling everything inward, closing the gap and creating volume in the middle. So even if asymmetry exists, and it does for almost every woman, bonding sort of conceals it. The closer your chest sits, the more it looks like one sculpted unit, no matter what's happening underneath. Incline presses and flies push that same idea upwards, pressing curves inwards and carving depth through the center lines. This is where boobs start to look not just fuller but tastefully denser, the kind of detail that makes every neckline work harder for you. Now scissors. Arms crisscrossing in front, literally weaving the two sides tighter, like pulling corset strings across your bust. And then single arm cable pull downs. Like they look like back training, but what they really do is trim the side boob bulge, something that all of us collectively also call it as like the bra bulge. The second the sides are cut clean, the front looks closer, tighter and more defined. And it's not just the bonding, it's actually sculpting. The underhand presses drive that bonding effect even further, pulling the chest in, raising it up and shaping a cleaner, unified boundary line of sorts. The beauty of this is that it doesn't just build strength, but it actually teaches your chest where to sit, like tighter, higher and more central. And finally, we have the good old Arnold presses. They're like multitaskers, lifting sag, cutting side boob and raising your shoulders high enough so that the chest sits better for longer. Now these aren't just chest moves, they're actually bonding hacks for strength, for symmetry, for style. So here's the truth about contouring. Makeup can fake it for a minute, but it can't solve muscle problems. You can add shadows, shades, blur and highlight. But at the end of the day, no brush can lift a sag or carve definition. That's where real life contouring needs to step in, which is exercise. These movements don't just lift or bond, they sculpt depth, shape and projection all at once. Push-ups set the base, pressing your own body weight to create firm lines across the chest. And dund push-ups go even deeper, lengthening, pressing and chiseling into something makeup can only pretend to be. So tricep dips look very simple, but they contour the lower chest and under boob area. That one zone that even the best bras can't cheat. And here's the kicker. Dips don't just tone, they tighten the frame that holds your bust line in place. So the lift you worked on actually stays visible. Overhead tricep rope pulls are next. They pull the chest up while chiseling the frame around it, like shading the sides of your face in makeup. And then there's shoulder press, pressing down and back up, tightening the top line of your chest while stacking shoulders taller. So the bust line sits framed, not flat. Every rep here is like layering highlight and shadow across your body, a dimension that clothing and leave alone makeup could never give you. Incline back rows contour the rear-delts, the muscles that keep your chest pulled forward and posture tall. Without them, even the best cleavage collapses. The more you build here, the more your bust line looks naturally projected. And almost it's like being displayed instead of being dragged down. And finally, we have the assisted pull-ups. They're steep, but nothing contours like this. Pulling your entire body up against gravity sculpts your chest, trims the sides, raises the shoulders, and locks in your core all at once. Think of contouring as the master filter. It defines, tightens, and elevates every angle. So your chest looks deliberate and not accidental. And unlike makeup, this contours kind of stays.
So guys, ये था मेरा वीडियो about ABC of chest training, especially for women. I really hope आपको मेरा वीडियो अच्छा और यूजफुल लगा हो. अगर यूजफुल लगा हो तो प्लीज share it with like your friends and family. Like, share, subscribe, and Bombay just feels so much happier when the sun comes out almost after a week. So yeah, also like ये वीडियो मैंने actually bits and pieces में shoot किया हुआ है because there's like repair work going around my home and there's like a constant boombox sound that ideally I would not want to remix with whatever little I'm talking. So I hope you guys have like the best festive season ahead, and I'm going to see you soon, and you can probably be my friend